The U.S. has just undergone one of its most trying economic times since the Great Depression. Unemployment today still hovers around 8.3% because of the massive cost-cutting layoffs that were executed in 2008 and 2009 in an effort to combat the impact of the struggling economy in the U.S. Small and mid-sized businesses were hit very hard. Sales dipped drastically, and credit became nearly impossible to attain in order to keep afloat. Many incurred losses so large they were forced to close shop. Amidst this tragedy, a glimmer of hope exists at Tuthill Corporation, a company that was not exempt from the perils of our economy. Tuthill is a privately held global manufacturer of industrial goods such as pumps, meters, vacuum systems, and blowers used in what we call foundational markets like agriculture, chemicals, construction, energy, food and beverage, and medical. Industrial manufacturing tends to have a stigma of being tired, worn out, primitive, and grueling. It's also a profession that more and more of America's youth are trying to avoid rather than pursue. Tuthill is trying to change that. At first glance, this is a story you've heard many times before. A successful 100-year-old manufacturer begins to lose ground in a fast-changing world. And, like many of those stories, the manufacturer tries to respond with ever more bold programs, aggressive new planning processes, parallel incentive systems, expensive new information systems, and the like. In 1999, Tuthill, inspired by the Toyota production system of lean manufacturing, integrated lean into their culture. This was the start of a journey into becoming process-based with goals of reducing waste and increasing productivity. The results were initially disappointing and frustrating. The company's profitability continued to erode. Senior management felt the pressure. None more than Chairman J. Tuthill, fourth-generation Tuthill to run the family business. With help from coach Therese Keenast, Jay came to understand the awesome power of authenticity, which led to further conversations with CEO Tom Carmazzi about creating a more authentic workplace through radical leadership.
In 2004, Therese walked in the door of this very building, our corporate headquarters, sat down with Tom and with me, and said, "Gentlemen, you both want to create the same thing. And I see you being stuck, I see you kind of working at odds. How about we sit down and figure out a way to make that happen?"
Really, radical leadership is about being aware and awake. Seeing what you haven't been able to see and then waking up in a way that has you see a world of possibilities that you hadn't seen previously.
In 2005, Tuthill introduced Conscious Company as a key part of its culture based on the principles of radical leadership. Before Conscious Company, it was common for folks to feel like getting a red dot was a bad thing. Afterward, it became an awareness of an opportunity for improvement that we were empowered to act upon.
There's a discrepancy between employers and employees, as if they didn't want the same thing. They all, if you really look at it, employers and employees want the same thing. They want to come together and be productive and have success and create wins and be in service of one another. And yet, right now, it's as if they step in at odds, defending against one another and trying and living out of a place of entitlement or a sense of, you owe me, instead of we're partners in creating possibilities.
Radical leadership, from my perspective, was first getting to know who I am and how I live in my own leadership, and then continuing to grow on that, how I can learn from my own strengths and weaknesses to work with others to get the best we can out of whatever we need to do.
The biggest impact on me personally has been unlocking some of the things inside of me that I think have laid dormant, maybe since even I was a teenager, and a lot of the potential that I have that I hadn't been utilizing, and some of my skills and abilities that I wasn't using are definitely just all coming out of me right now. I feel like I'm just like bursting with all of these things, and they're not necessarily new things because they were all inside of me, but they're being unlocked.
Prior to the introduction of Conscious Company, people were hired because their resume matched the job description with credentials worth bragging about. With Conscious Company, Tuthill focused on not only what an individual has done, but who they are and their alignment with Tuthill's values of courage, awareness, responsibility, respect, integrity, and excellence.
Tuthill Corporation, this is Nita.
Conscious Company helps people realize that they are responsible and at choice for creating what they want, not only at work, but in all of life.
You have a higher quality of self-esteem, gives you high quality in relationships, it gives you more pride in the work that you do, and it all just kind of domino effects into a greater existence.
At Tuthill, we joke a lot about having our own secret sauce. What we really mean is we have a very happy combination of a process-based culture and our conscious company. Now, a process-based culture is all about finding the best way to do something and then having the discipline to do it that way time and time again, and then step back and look at the process of what we've learned in doing it that one way, and then find yet another way.
Momentum began to shift in 2010 as over 400 employees had now attended off-site radical leadership retreats. Employees returned from these retreats feeling energized and empowered to start choosing differently in support of what they want to create in their lives.
It was so exciting to find out that I was in control of how I showed up every day and how other people have a tendency to impact how I feel. And I've got the choice to decide whether I want to let them. And that was so empowering. And so now I've got my own decision to how I want to show up.
Tuthill has proven that it has the talent it needs and the systems required for modern business success. What gave traction to all of these foundational elements was Conscious Company, which is the intentional marriage of the compassion and passion of the heart with the rigor and discipline of the mind. This wonderful integration creates individuals and teams who are compelled to live into our values and bring our vision and mission to life.
Things used to be very black and white. It used to be management and the union. And now we just have Tuthill employees.
The last 2 years have seen record growth and profit and a stunningly solid balance sheet. The company has outpaced the growth of the markets they sell into. The people at Tuthill don't leave the reality behind as they tell their story. They still admit to making mistakes each and every day. The difference is that today, when they make a mistake, their recovery is blindingly fast without judgment or guilt.
Once the people trust that what we're trying to do is in all of our best interests, and in fact in the interests of our families and our communities, as we create a great company, grow healthy families, and then eventually have seismic impact on our world, we are all in this together.
By adopting radical leadership, the management at Tuthill has created a conscious company that has uplifted the mundane manufacturing process to a life-enhancing culture so that everyone involved can continue to strive for excellence at work and excellence in life. For more information about Tuthill Corporation, visit their website at www.tuthill.com/inview.